The Mystery of Zhang Gong. Chapter 7. The steward responded with a hum and was about to leave before Lan Zhu stopped him again. Never mind, don't say anything about the script yet. Just say the play was sung very well and we've troubled them. Lead the characters and the troupe leader to Ziyahua Hall for their reward. Accepting the order, the steward hurriedly left. Lan Zhu and Wang Yan went to Ziyahua Hall first. Not long after, the clown man from before came over with the two who played as Yudi and husband Hu. The man's face had already been washed clean, whilst the pair from Fox husband still had their makeup on. Lan Zhu had a servant give several red envelopes as their reward. They expressed 1,000 thanks as they accepted them. I just listened to two scripts sung together, which was interesting in a disorderly way. I wonder if I can take a look at both the original and revised versions of the script. Lan Zhu asked. The three troupe members looked at each other. In the end, it was still that man who apologetically smiled and spoke up. Master Lan, we're very sorry, but our class teacher ordered us to never casually show others our scripts. Lan Zhu raised his hand. All the servants around him withdrew and the hall's entrance doors closed. Only Lan Zhu, Wang Yan, and the three troupe members remained in Ziyahua Hall. It's getting late, Minister Wang and I still need to attend court, so let's make the long story short and stop beating about the bush. You deliberately sang the new and old scripts together because you already recognized the person I invited to be Assistant Minister Wang from the Ministry of Justice. The play was sung specifically for him. If any of you have anything to say, you can directly speak up. The expressions of the three below them changed. The middle-aged man threw himself to his knees and kowtowed. My small tricks truly couldn't be concealed from both masters. Master, there's something strange about our class teacher's case. That year, Lady Li also died strangely. This humble one was bold and wanted the heavens to investigate. Wang Yan straightened his clothing and sat upright. Who is Lady Li and what's so strange about your class teacher's case? The middle-aged man responded, responding to Master, it's a long story. Our Lexi troupe was originally called Ljia troupe. I'm called Li Qi, and the ones who sang Fox husband is my nephew Qing Shu and niece Xiang He. We're all from the old Ljia troupe. Turns out this troupe actually belonged to wife Jin Ne Li's maternal family. Her grandfather Li, sang in his early years and later became a class teacher himself for his own troupe. Under him were a man and a woman. The eldest man was wife Jin's uncle who didn't want to follow such a career and instead made a cloth business, so grandfather Li allowed one of his proud disciples to live with his family and marry wife Jin's mother. The child was born following the surname Li and was the Li family's foundation. Who would have expected? Man proposes, God disposes. Wife Jin's younger brother died of smallpox when he just turned 10, and her father also turned ill and passed away shortly after. Wife Jin's husband, Jin Lifa, had organized a small troupe once during his earlier years, so took advantage of the situation and took over Ljia troupe. He was afraid that if he changed the name from Ljia troupe to Jinjia Ban it'd make the Li family uncomfortable, so he changed the name to Lexi troupe. Note 1. Man proposes, God disposes, meaning, human beings can make any plans they want, but it's God that decides their success or failure. 2. Ljia troupe and Jinjia troupe. Ljia means Li family, Jinjia means Jin family. Now this is interesting. Even if wife Jin's father and younger brother died, her widowed mother shouldn't have been able to afford the troupe's maintenance. She still had an uncle, which the troupe should have belonged to anyway. How could it be taken over by a Jin? Wang Yan asked. Alas, this is a lamentable matter. Grandfather Li was a great charitable person, however, nobody knew why but Li family's descendants never flourished. Eldest young Master Li married many wives and concubines. 10 or 20 years ago, one of his daughters died. Later, he adopted a child to take over his business, but in the end, this child wasn't his own and looked down on our troupe, so he returned him to Our Lady's husband, Li Qi said. Wang Yan nodded lightly. The lady who died is Yudi from the play. Why did you say she died strangely? Reporting back to Master, after the separation, eldest young Master lived beside Li family's old residence, so I know better than anyone else about his family matters. The lady who died is called Li Niang. She was raised in her chambers and, like all the ladies from those big families, her family traditions couldn't be more rigorous. Since childhood, Li Niang had never gone outside and instead, stayed indoors all the time. Other than her paternal aunt who'd come over from time to time, she'd almost never met any outsiders. But on a particular day, Li Niang suddenly died. She was neatly dressed, on her bed, her expression serene as if she'd fallen asleep. Her family couldn't understand her cause of death, so they secretly invited a witch for questioning. The witch told them Lady Li Niang's soul had been spirited away. Wang Yan lightly knocked on the table surface. How absurd, she died suddenly without a cause, why didn't they report it to authorities? Li Qi replied with his head down, I shouldn't be saying such things, but I once heard rumors in private. The reason why they didn't report it to authorities was that when they examined Lady Li Niang's body, they found out she'd been several months pregnant. Wang Yan slapped the seat armrest. This is clearly rape and murder, making reporting this to authorities even more necessary. These ignorant common people, for their distinguished faces they let a murderer get away with his crimes for nearly 20 years. But Lady Li Niang never had the opportunity to come into contact with men. Even if she was to come to my home, it'd be through a small doorway into the courtyard. She had absolutely no way of encountering anyone else. The witch said she must have been charmed by the spirit, so her funeral was held secretly. Even her body was burned to ashes before being buried, Lin Qi said. Wang Yan frowned and was silent for a moment before asking, and then everyone stopped mentioning this matter. This should have been long left in the past. Who would have thought our class teacher would find someone to write a play for it? Wife Jin even allowed them to write it according to this. After the script was written, the class teacher was very upset and told us to not perform it. He found someone else to rewrite it. Wang Yan raised his eyebrows. It was your class teacher who was upset? Yes. After the script was completed, Leader Jin was away from the capital for business, so Wife Jin ordered us to start performing first. On the day the class teacher returned, he watched the play and was very unhappy, saying how this was definitely no good, and found someone to rewrite it. This is why they had two scripts on hand. It was after I finished reading the first script that I remembered this strange matter. In addition to the class teacher's sudden assault, I believe this is far too coincidental. When we came to perform at Master Ian's residence, Xiao Wu recognized Master Wang, so this humble one was bold and deliberately had them perform with both scripts to make Master pay attention. Please forgive me. Lanju just drank tea whilst he listened. Wang Yu spoke. Yes, hearing you admit to this also made me remember that even if you forgot your words, you wouldn't have mistakenly put both old and new scripts onto the fan. Such an artificial move, on the contrary, would have given the game away. Li Qi kowtowed. Master is wise and sharp. You can clearly distinguish the downy feather of autumn. Note. You can clearly distinguish the downy feather of autumn, meaning you can distinguish right from wrong, and vice versa. Wang Yan unfolded his fan and laughed with a ha-ha. All right, all right. I dislike listening to such flatteries. You believe Lady Li's death from several years ago is related to the recent case involving class teacher Jin because of the script Zhang Ping wrote. However, there's no concrete evidence, so we need to investigate this matter in detail. But rest assured, if there's any injustice, it'll definitely come to light. Li Qi repeatedly kowtowed again. Before he and the other two left, Wang Yan called Li Qi back again and casually asked, by the way, when Lady Li died, was wife Jin and Jin Lifa married? They'd just gotten married. Our lady was pregnant at the time and was staying with her maternal family. Lady Li Niang would often come over and chat with her. It was said that Li Qi's expression flickered. What was said? Wang Yan asked. Li Qi hesitated. This is just irrelevant gossip. It was said that the one our troop leader wanted to marry back then was Lady Li Niang, not Our Lady, but since his family managed troops before, he changed to marry Our Lady. Wang Yan laughed. If he hadn't married your lady, I'm afraid this troop won't exist anymore. This was predestined. Yes. Soon after Our Lady gave birth, her younger brother died of smallpox. It certainly is destiny. A long sigh. After the three troop members left, Wang Yan held his teacup and seemed to be under a trance for a long while before saying, Peiji, what do you think of this case? Lanju yawned. It's not like I work in the Ministry of Justice, so what do you expect me to think of this case? I'm just here for the excitement is all. Minister Wang shouldn't worry about the case anymore. Hurry, wash your face, rinse your mouth and change your robes, it's time to attend court. Wang Yan stood up. That's right. Fortunately, I had the foresight to bring my court robes and sedan chair to your residence, otherwise, I would have seriously delayed my attendance to court. Lanju ordered someone to make some strong tea and arranged a side room for Wang Yan to prepare himself. He also washed himself, ate some rice, changed into his court robe, and went ahead to attend court. After court, Lanju didn't dare make delays, he went to his ministry's yamen again and was busy until the afternoon. Not feeling too top-heavy, he returned home early. As he was leaving the imperial city, he saw Wang Yan hurriedly rush over from the other side with large strides, appearing to burst with life. Wang Yan grabbed Lanju's sleeves and dragged him under a tree. With shining eyes, he whispered, Peiji, I've already thought out the general clues for this case, but I'm afraid the information would leak out, so I don't dare interrogate wife Jin. Bring me to Zhangping and the truth will all come to light. Lanju smilingly said, then that's good. Wang Yan patted his shoulder. This is all thanks to you, Peiji. What Li Qi said today was truly an unexpected delight. It was as easy as lifting a finger, so I don't dare claim any credit. After the case is closed, Minister Wang just needs to remember to pay me back with a jar of wine. Of course, of course. I need to hurry off to work, so I'll leave first. In the end, Lanju had to give the other a slight reminder. To me, Li Qi's words were still a bit. Anyway, it seems Minister Wang would need to experience a lot more toils. Wang Yan narrowed his eyes and smiled. I know that Li Qi's words aren't detailed enough, alas, enough of this, I'm leaving to my ministry now. He cupped his hands and left. Lanju watched him leave and slowly walked out of the imperial city. On the way back to his residence, Lanju inadvertently lifted his sedan curtains and caught a glimpse of Chen Chuo holding a bamboo basket walking in the direction of the Ministry of Justice. Lanju returned to his residence. Instead of making up for his lack of sleep, he changed into plain old clothing and left his residence riding a small sedan chair. He got off at a secluded intersection near the Ministry of Justice's prison and found a tea house. He picked a private room with windows facing the streets to sit in, ordered a pot of tea, and drank slowly. Drinking tea slowly, even he found this a little funny. How many years had it been since he last did something so impulsively? In the end, the desire to investigate thoroughly was part of human nature. He was even setting his heart on such a small case. Whether it was purely for the case or for Zhangping, Lanju wasn't too sure. After about 3/4 of an hour, in the distance, he saw Chen Chuo carrying a basket coming towards this direction from the Ministry of Justice. Lanju paid the tea bill and exited the tea house. He just happened to meet Chen Chuo at the entrance. Chen Chuo reluctantly smiled at him. Brother Cao, what a coincidence. Why are you here? Lanju carefully observed his expression. Just as he expected, Zhangping hadn't told Chen Chuo his real identity. He smiled. I was visiting a friend nearby and came in for a cup of tea on the way. Brother Chen, you. Are you visiting Brother Zhang? Chen Chuo looked down and released a long sigh. Alas, turns out even Brother Cao you have heard of this, bad news really does run quickly. It's all my fault for soliciting work for Zhangping, thus causing trouble for him. I've heard that Minister Tao from the Ministry of Justice is an honest and upright official. Since he's personally trying this case, he'd definitely prove Brother Zhang's innocence. I trust Brother Cao's words. I keep thinking, Chen Chuo looked around and lowered his voice. I kept thinking that Zhangping actually knows who the murderer is. Today, Assistant Minister Wang from the Ministry of Justice went to interrogate him in prison and asked him some questions about class teacher Jin and his wife. Zhangping answered him well, but he actually dared tell Assistant Minister Wang he was wrong. Assistant Minister Wang's expression turned green on the spot and he left immediately. Everyone in the prison said he didn't know what was good for himself. Assistant Minister Wang was clearly here to help him, yet he said he was wrong. So now I wonder, does Zhangping know who the culprit is? But for some reason, he doesn't dare say it. This is interesting. Lanju suddenly felt he didn't come in vain. He thought for a moment and said, Brother Chen, when you go visit Brother Zhang again, tell him that it was me, Cao, who sent you. Just let him remember that if he knows who the culprit is, never tell anyone else. Before any evidence comes to light, don't let him tell Chief Minister Tao. Bear this in mind. End chapter. The Mystery of Zhang Gong. Chapter 8. Minister Tao couldn't sleep well for the entire night. He dreamt he'd closed the case and sentenced Zhangping to immediate execution. Zhangping became a ghost, his entire body covered in blood as he stared at him. He quietly said, I was wronged. Minister Tao sat up with a quiver, sweaty. Outside his window, his wife was raising a young rooster, training her voice. It wasn't yet dawn, almost time to attend court. Wife Tao turned her body and said, My lord, you should just go tell the emperor to dismiss you from the Ministry of Justice chief minister position. You don't even dare listen to ghost stories. How could you possibly be suitable for this career? You don't earn a single extra when and you have nightmares every night. You've been scared to the point your beard has turned white. Hanlin Academy is quite good. Wife Qin tells me that her husband is extremely idle every day. Minister Tao got out of bed without a single word. He walked to the door and opened it. It was completely black. Even when he arrived at his ministry yamen, Minister Tao still felt restless. He thought about it over and over, thinking this Zhangping may have indeed been wronged. As an examinee who was about to participate in the preliminary exam, to give up on great future prospects and kill a troop leader was not the way of scholars. He opened the files and looked through all the evidence that blatantly pointed to Zhangping. Minister Tao sighed worriedly and paced back and forth. At noon, Minister Tao personally went to the prison to visit Zhangping. Zhangping was currently sitting in the corner, eating. He carefully put the remaining half of his bun back into the bowl and stood up to greet Minister Tao. In his heart, Minister Tao thought he truly was a good young man. Minister Tao friendly said, You've suffered a bit in this prison. Staying here, do you not feel panicked or resent my ministry? Zhangping replied, This student is not the perpetrator. I believe I will obtain justice. Minister Tao spoke with even more amiability. Assistant Minister Wang told me he doesn't think you're the perpetrator who harmed Jin Lifa, but when Assistant Minister Wang came over to question you about the other doubtful aspects of this case, why did you contradict him? If you helped Assistant Minister Wang find any other suspects, wouldn't you have more hope absolving yourself from the crime? Zhangping lowered his eyelids. There's nothing suspicious about the things Assistant Minister Wang has doubts about. This student can't say that they're suspicious. Minister Tao twirled his beard. How can you determine that they're not suspicious? It was dark in the prison, so a guard was holding up a torch to illuminate the area. Zhangping stood in the swaying glow of the flames, his appearance and bearing exactly the same as the wronged ghost in Minister Tao's dream. If master believes in me, this student can find evidence and witnesses. Wife Jin also had a nightmare. She dreamt of her cousin Li Niang standing in front of her bed, calling out to her, "Sister! Sister Xiangwan!" Wife Jin was restless, unable to stay still. The Ministry of Justice had sent someone to tell her that there was either poison on the perpetrator's blade, or when Jin Lifa fell into the manure pit the foul air entered his body too deeply, hence his injury was very unstable. However, the words Jin Lifa spoke was the key to his case. The Ministry of Justice would put in all their efforts into saving him and had already transferred several well-known doctors. They'd put up a notice offering a reward to any doctor who could cure Jin Lifa. Wife Jin begged to see her husband but was rejected. The entire day, she felt like she'd been fried in oil. Her little apprentices were in the courtyard training their voices. Listening to it made her feel distraught with anxiety. She felt her thread and needle and sat by the window. In a flash, it was as if she returned to a memory from many years ago, pregnant with her eldest child, sitting under the window as she embroidered a belly band. Li Niang had opened the door and smiled at her. "Sister." During those days, Li Niang had been acting unusual. Others didn't pay attention, but she could tell. Her complexion had turned more delicate and ruddy, as if she'd put on rogue. She usually appeared washed out and sickly, but at that time she liked to bite her lips and laugh, curving the corners of her eyes. Her gaze would sometimes drift, nobody knowing what she was thinking. She wrung Li Niang's hands and said, "You darn girl, don't tell me you went behind your parents' back and found someone to become intimate with." Li Niang's eyes rippled. She asked, "Sister Xiangwan, do you believe in immortals?" She answered, "I believe. I believe there is a white-bearded elderly immortal who'd long tied a thread around your hand and tied the other end to a noble brother who looks like Pan An." Note: Panan, a Chinese poet from the Western Jin dynasty who was known for his good looks. Li Niang hung her head and smiled. "Sister, do you remember the weasel we rescued together when we were younger?" She thought about it and vaguely remembered such a thing. When they were younger, there was a weasel that'd steal chickens from their backyard. One day, one of its hind legs was clipped by a clamp and it joltingly ran past her and Li Niang. They'd heard the adults talk about how smelly a weasel's fart could be, so they took 3 steps back as they watched it dig into the dog hole and run away. She froze for a moment and asked, "Did that weasel become a spirit to come and pester you?" Li Niang wrung her handkerchief without a word, so she grabbed onto Li Niang's hands. "My good sister, don't scare me. Weasels are filthy things, things like ghosts and monsters shouldn't be touched. A girl like you can't be fooled." Li Niang chuckled. "Sister, I know. But he won't harm me, he is an immortal, I can't even see his face. The fragrance on his body only exists in heaven. Only us mortals are smelly and filthy in his eyes." Someone pounded on the door. Wife Jin's hands trembled, causing the needle to prick her finger. She tore a piece of fabric and wrapped it around her finger as 2 or 3 officials from the Ministry of Justice entered the room. "Wife Jin, the Chief Minister is going to retry the case in the court hall. Come with us." The second trial was almost the same as the first, except the person standing next to Chief Minister Tao was replaced by a minister wearing a red assistant minister uniform. Wife Jin recognized this person. He was the current imperial tutor Wang's eldest son, Wang Yan. She'd heard from Xiao Wu that when the troupe was performing at Assistant Minister Ian's residence, Assistant Minister Wang was also there and had summoned Li Qi, Qing Shu, and Xiang He over for questioning. Wife Jin had a bad premonition in her heart. She was the only one kneeling in the court hall, neither Zhang Ping nor Chen Chuo there. Chief Minister Tao cleared his throat and said, "This case is being retried today because several key clues relating to the case had been found. Wife Jin, I ask you, you said you heard your husband Jin Lifa's shout and he'd just been to the latrine. Do you have a witness?" Wife Jin was dazed for a moment before she replied with a trembling voice, "Master, are you suspecting me of harming my husband? I've been wronged, Master, my husband and I have been a married couple for 20 harmonious years, why would I harm him? Master, please investigate this matter. The perpetrator is clearly that Zhang Ping. Right now, the murder weapon hasn't been found yet, and although Zhang Ping is suspicious, there is no concrete evidence against him. I've handled several cases and oftentimes, the first person on scene is the perpetrator. You don't have any witnesses, so you can't be ruled out as a suspect, Minister Tao said. Still on her knees, wife Jin moved forward 2 steps, crying. Master, my husband and I have been in love for many years, everyone in the troupe can testify for it, so how could I harm my husband? Zhang Ping must be slandering me. Minister Tao sighed and waved his hand. Several bailiffs led someone forward, over the threshold, and knelt him down beside wife Jin. Unexpectedly, it was Li Qi. Li Qi said, My lady, more than a decade ago, after Lady Li Niang passed away, it was you who came forward to testify and said Lady Li Niang once told you that she became familiar with a weasel spirit. Only then did grandfather and grandmother Li believe that Lady Li Niang died from her soul getting sucked out by the weasel spirit. Is this correct? Wife Jin, according to the results of the investigation, your cousin Li Niang was clearly seduced to death, not from being spirited away or anything of the sort. Do you really not know this? Minister Tao asked. Wife Jin's entire body trembled. Master, my cousin indeed died from getting her soul sucked away by a weasel spirit. Besides, she died almost 20 years ago. What does this have to do with my husband's case? Minister Tao slowly said, according to investigations, your cousin Li Niang was raised in her bedchambers and had no way of interacting with men. Is this true? Wife Jin nodded, crying intermittently as she said, Master. This is why Li Niang's death was caused by a spirit. Back then, she told me that a weasel turned into an immortal and went to find her. Then why didn't you tell her parents? Minister Tao asked. Wife Jin continued crying. Then she told me it was just a joke. As sisters, we'd often joke around. I didn't take it seriously. It was only until she died. Did I understand? Did I understand it was true? Beside Chief Minister Tao, Assistant Minister Wan coldly said, a young and unmarried maiden living in a bedchamber indeed makes it harder for her to interact with men. But for some men, it'd be very easy to see her. For example, father and brothers, or brothers-in-law. Wife Jin's crying stopped, and Minister Tao sighed. Wife Jin, I've heard that the person your husband, Jin Lifa, wanted to marry was your cousin Li Niang. In the end, he married you. Is this correct? There was absolute silence in the court hall. After a while, several officers slowly escorted Zhang Ping into the hall. Chief Minister Tao directed a nod to Wang Yan, and Wang Yan looked down below the platform. Wife Jin, can you tell the Chief Minister and I why you wanted Zhang Ping to write Fox husband? Wife Jin's teeth clattered against each other. I'd occasionally have a dream, so I'd occasionally devise a plan. Wang Yan said coldly, you asked Zhang Ping to write this play for your husband Jin Lifa. Jin Lifa struggled in the dark before feeling a familiar odor. It's him, he came. Jin Lifa's hands twitched and his throat gurgled, he wheezed hurriedly. The great yellow immortal. He. Wife Jin, you knew that Li Niang's death was a subject best avoided. You vaguely guess who the murderer was, but you endured it for nearly 20 years, never letting it slip out. You deliberately asked Zhang Ping to write about this case, but while writing it he accidentally revealed the truth. The charming fragrance and deliberately covered face indicate that the murderer was someone Li Niang knew. Jin Lifa's reaction to the script confirmed your guess. You used this as an opportunity to strike the killer at midnight and frame Zhang Ping. Wife Jin desperately kowtowed, her forehead already revealing faint blood stains. My great chief minister, great assistant minister, I didn't kill my husband, nor do I know anything about a secret behind my cousin's murder. If I'm lying, then I'll get struck by lightning. Zhang Ping lifted his eyelids and glanced at Wang Yan. Wang Yan narrowed his eyes. Zhang Ping, judging by your expression it seems you're dissatisfied with my inference. Zhang Ping glanced at him again, not saying a single word. Wang Yan sneered and turned away his eyes. Li Qi, you tell me, is my inference correct? Li Qi prostrated. Both the chief minister and assistant minister are wise. This commoner is just an actor and doesn't dare comment on this case. Wang Yan tucked his hands into his sleeves. Why don't you dare comment? In your heart, you must be thinking this assistant minister Wang really is a fool. Whatever I say he believes, completely following Lao Zi's manipulation, right? Note, Lao Zi, an arrogant way of saying I. Li Qi looked up, extremely startled. Wang Yan turned around and bowed to Chief Minister Tao. Chief Minister. Chief Minister Tao coughed, straightened his robe, and slammed the gavel. Li Qi, why did you frame wife Jin for Jin Lifa's case? What exactly is the truth behind the two cases? Hurry up and speak the truth. Li Qi was limp on the floor, shivering. Wang Yan looked down at him and sneered. If Jin Lifa and wife Jin were connected to Li Niang's death, they'd never use this matter to let someone write into a script. You're just a servant, yet you know so many secrets. Surely you were able to enter the inner residence. More than a decade ago, you seduced Li Niang and most likely unintentionally bumped into Jin Lifa. He probably didn't think that what he saw was related to the murder. Unexpectedly, after the script was written it actually mentioned a crucial point of the murder. You were afraid Jin Lifa would recall that day and find some clues. In order to silence him, you simply created an illusion that Zhang Ping was the one who intended to murder him, wanting Jin Lifa, wife Jin, and Zhang Ping, who unintentionally revealed the truth in his nonsensical writing, to be eradicated together. After that, it was quickly verified that when the script was written, Jin Lifa and wife Jin were clearly away from the capital. However, you deliberately changed that by inducing us to think Jin Lifa had ulterior motives with your words. You were using us as chess pieces. How extremely cunning. Unfortunately, your cleverness was defeated by itself. Your deeds, contrary to expectations, became evidence that you were the perpetrator. Li Qi prostrated, tears and snot running down his face as he cried injustice. Wang Yan folded his arms and walked to Zhang Ping. Zhang Ping, back then you said I was wrong. Do you still want to say that to me now? Zhang Ping still didn't speak. Wang Yan walked around him. Suddenly, a constable rushed in and knelt down in the court hall. Chief Minister, we got them. Chief Minister Tao beckoned. Hurry, bring them in. The constable hurriedly left. After a while, 4 or 5 constables pushed a person into the hall. The person looked approximately in his 40s, his body tall and slender, complexion slightly yellow, and his beard sparse. He wore a square scarf around his head and a not quite old changshan, carrying a medicine box. He appeared to be a physician. Zhang Ping stepped forwards and bowed. Master, this is the person who, more than a decade ago, raped and killed Li Niang and is the perpetrator who harmed Jin Lifa. End chapter. The Mystery of Zhang Gong. Chapter 9. Wife Jin looked at the physician and spoke with a trembling voice. You. The physician was expressionless as he allowed the constables to kneel him to the ground. A constable carried over a live rabbit and not long after he inserted a silver needle, from a humble yet renowned physician official who was treating Jin Lifa, behind the rabbit's ear. Its eyes blurred and it prostrate onto the floor, motionless as if asleep. Master Tao asked, the silver needle has clearly been dipped in poison, yet why doesn't it turn black? The humble yet renowned physician official replied, the silver needle wasn't dipped in poison, but a type of herbal medicine. This subordinate deliberately went to the official institute of the imperial physicians to ask for a consultation. There are written records in the expropriated copies of miscellaneous prescriptions of a folk recipe in the Lunanshan area locally described as gleditia, dayflower and finger grasses fried together into a liquid that can make humans and animals become senseless. Tao Jiufeng asked, if it's just to make someone senseless, not fatal, then why do you determine his intentions were to murder Jin Lifa? The physician official replied, after the medicine causes senselessness, it'll also weaken the pulse and stop one's breathing, making them appear dead. He consecutively penetrated this needle into several of Jin Lifa's acupoints. If it wasn't for this subordinate's timely assistance, Jin Lifa would have definitely died. That physician prostrate motionlessly onto the ground. Wife Jin repeatedly screamed, Master, this is Luo Ling, me and my husband's fellow countryman. He arrived at the capital 2 months ago and was living by the lane entrance. Thinking it was more convenient with a fellow countryman, whenever my husband and I had headaches and brain fevers, we'd get him to treat us. We patronized him so much and we definitely have no hatred between us, so how could he dash? The physician just laid there without a word. Minister Tao slammed down his gavel. Luo Ling, there is undeniable evidence that you intended to kill Jin Lifa. Are you the one who used a knife to stab Jin Lifa and pushed him into the manure pit that night, the one who raped and murdered Li Niang more than a decade ago? Luo Ling slowly straightened up and said, Master, this humble one was only treating Mr. Jin and wanted him to suffer less pain, which was why I dipped the needle in medicine. Master physician official also said the medicine can only cause one to become unconscious. This humble one is inexperienced. In addition to having so many officials next to me in the Ministry of Justice, I felt inevitably afraid. I was momentarily muddle-headed and pierced the wrong acupoints, almost killing Mr. Jin. It's the fault of this humble one's inadequate medical skills. But I'm definitely not involved in making an attempt against his life. Moreover, this matter about rape and murder is causing this humble one to feel even more confused. Just as Mrs. Jin said, both Mr. and Mrs. Jin were kind to me, why would this humble one harm them? Tao Jiufeng said nothing. Luo Ling continued, if Master doesn't believe me, you can search this humble one's home and check whether you can find evidence of crime. Besides, this humble one is just a physician without even the power to bind a chicken. Mr. Jin's family ran a theater. During his early years, he'd practice martial arts and still has a well-built physique. Even if this humble one laid in an ambush in the latrine and attacked Mr. Jin, I may not have succeeded. The latrine is narrow and Mr. Jin was stabbed by a knife. During his struggles, he might have even pushed me into the manure pit. The moonlight was bright that night and there weren't any suitable hiding places near the latrine. Everyone in the troupe also recognizes me, so if I was the one who fled after the assault, I would have easily been exposed. If this humble one wanted to harm Mr. Jin, I would have just put poison into his medicine. Why would I use this method? Master Tao continued to stroke his beard, continued to remain silent. Wang Yan sneered with a hee-hee. Zhang Ping, you told the chief minister Luo Ling was the true perpetrator who intended to kill Jin Lifa and raped and murdered Li Niang. Do you have any other evidence? Zhang Ping bowed without an answer. Wang Yan sneered again. That means you don't? How funny. This is what an examinee who wants to enter the imperial court and become a minister looks like. You haven't even memorized the laws, statutes, and precedents, yet with a ready tongue you were ready to judge who the perpetrator is. He cupped his hands. Chief Minister, this subordinate believes Luo Ling's self-defense was rational and there is insufficient evidence against him. He should at most be convicted of improper medicinal practices and causing negligence-induced injuries. As for Zhang Ping, he framed a good citizen for a crime they didn't do. The perpetrator of this case is clearly Li Qi. Li Qi had always been silently listening. Hearing this, he suddenly raised his head. Master, this humble one was wronged. Master says this humble one is the perpetrator, yet there's no conclusive evidence either. I've already inferred the reason behind why you committed the crime. How can we not find evidence? The constables had already investigated and found that recently you asked class teacher Jin and his wife to raise your wages. You practiced fox husband 2 times before and after, yet class teacher Jin told you all to step up your vocal practice. You must have many dissatisfactions. Luo Ling's self-defense just then further confirmed that the person who attempted an assassination on Mr. Jin is a troop member, Wang Yan said. Minister Tao said, "That's right. According to my many years of trial experience, those who attack the victims head-on are mostly acquaintances. Towards strangers who attack head-on, ordinary people would have already put up their guards." Wang Yan said, "Master is wise." Additionally, this subordinate had actually already found the murder weapon. After signaling with his eyes, a constable presented a cloth-covered tray that was faintly suffused with a bad odor. Minister Tao lifted the cloth. Inside was a knife, the blade long and narrow and the handle old. Wang Yan said, "This knife was ordered by this subordinate to be found in Lakesea Troop's latrine manure pit. After comparison, I determined this should be the murder weapon." Master Tao let out a breath. "Zhang Ping, is this your knife?" Zhang Ping replied, "It's exactly the one the student lost." Li Qi hissed, "The knife is his, but why do you say the culprit is this humble one?" Wang Yan's expression changed and he shouted, "How dare you? You apprentice of evil, you think you could hide your actions, stealing a knife and committing crimes, with underhanded means? You're still arrogantly quibbling. I've already questioned around and found that before Jin Lifa was harmed, an apprentice saw you exit your room. Jin Lifa is about to wake up, he should know who the perpetrator is. I advise you to quickly confess, don't wait for a greater punishment." Li Qi was trembling all over as he knelt, droplets of cold sweat rolling down one after the other. He naturally knew that in the court, Chief Minister Tao was still second, the current imperial tutor's eldest son, Assistant Minister Wang, was the truly difficult one to defeat. Even if Assistant Minister Wang casually pulled out a corpse, said it was him who killed them, and immediately executed him, he could only accept it. This matter had already come to this point, he had to speak the truth. Li Qi gritted his teeth and closed his eyes. He tremblingly said, "Master, this humble one confesses." "I confess that this humble one isn't the mastermind behind this matter, the mastermind is Luo Ling." Luo Ling was aghast. "Brother Li Qi, you and I have no grievances in the past or today, why would you frame me and play up to those with power and influence?" Li Qi sneered. "Do you take me as a fool? You instructed me to do things, so I'd naturally leave some evidence. How could I take the blame in the end whilst you remain clean?" He kowtowed. "Chief Minister, Assistant Minister. There are several letters Luo Ling sent me hidden in this humble one's room. He asked me to find someone to imitate Jin Lifa's handwriting and make the transcription look old so it could be used as evidence that Jin Lifa seduced Li Niang in the past." A constable arrived at Li Qi's room and, sure enough, found the letters. Li Qi wasn't someone who could be easily defeated either. In case Luo Ling's letters weren't personally handwritten himself, he lied and said he couldn't remember the letter sequence, making Luo Ling mark the order of letters in front of him. The handwriting was clear, irrefutable. The evidence was sent to court and handed to Minister Tao. Tao Zhoufeng sighed. "Luo Ling, it seems the perpetrator really is you. Was it you who also killed Li Niang, which was why you wanted to kill Jin Lifa to silence him? Why exactly did you do so many things? To covet a married woman's beauty and commit such terrible evil, are you worthy of the firmaments, the world, your parents?" Luo Ling's complexion was bruised, his eyes covered with red threads, he spoke loudly, "I didn't kill Li Niang. I wanted to take revenge for Li Niang. They were the ones who killed Li Niang. They even wrote this matter down into a play." He abruptly pounced on Zhang Gong. "My dear scholar, I have to thank you. If it weren't for you, I wouldn't have known the culprit who killed Li Niang was wife Jin. I always thought it was her bitch mother." Several guards stepped forwards to restrain Luo Ling. Zhang Ping looked down at him. He was expressionless, but his eyes held a little bit of pity. The one who killed Li Niang was still you. If I haven't guessed wrong, you were afraid she wouldn't leave with you. You never told her the truth, even until the end. You drugged her with anesthesia without her knowing, but her family treated it as a spirit at work and burned her body. Listening to your words just then, does that mean wife Jin's younger brother and mother's deaths were also related to you? Luo Ling was silent for a moment. His expression changed before he suddenly laughed sadly. Ha, that's right, it was me. That old hag, it was her who hired a sorceress and said any sinful person charmed by a spirit wasn't worthy of staying. They burnt Li Niang alive. So I killed her son first, then killed her after. It's all because of my reluctance that I actually let go of the person who truly deserved to die. Even if 20 years have passed, I will still take my revenge. After the case trial finished, a night had passed. Luo Ling had calmly confessed and explained the whole story. When he was an apprentice learning how to become a physician with his shifu, he unintentionally caught a glimpse of Li Niang's appearance. After that, she was constantly in his mind. But wanting to marry Li Niang was just his wishful thinking. He was freely raised in the marketplace and had learned the skill of picking a lock and entering one's courtyard, so he disguised and dressed, pretending to be a spirit, and met Li Niang every night. Later, he found out Li Niang was pregnant. The matter would be revealed sooner or later. He wanted to elope with Li Niang, yet was afraid she'd suddenly know his real identity and cause trouble that'd be hard to clean up after. Hence, he drugged Li Niang, wanting to wait until midnight, when nobody was around, to dig up Li Niang's body from her grave. Who would have expected that Li Niang told her cousin, Li Xianguan, about her encounter with her weasel immortal? After hearing Li Niang had died, Li Xianguan was greatly shocked and didn't dare tell her uncle and auntie about this matter. Instead, she told her mother, who told her brother-in-law. They asked a sorceress to check Li Niang and found she was pregnant. In addition to the sorceress nonsense, the Li family unexpectedly hurriedly carried Li Niang off to burn her within one night. The Li family was in chaos because of this. The secret funeral was mostly handled by the son-in-law Jin Lifa. During the early morning, while he was purchasing joss paper, Jin Lifa actually saw Luo Ling lighting an incense stick to burn the joss paper by the river. Note: joss paper, also known as spirit money. Joss paper are sheets of paper burnt during holidays, e.g. Qingming festival, worship ceremonies, and funerals for the deceased to receive them and enjoy a happy and prosperous afterlife. Luo Ling's parents had long passed away, and although his shifu was old and sickly, he was still alive. When Jin Lifa bumped into this moment, he felt slightly suspicious, but he didn't have time to think carefully of it. Later, Luo Ling used an excuse to invite him out for drinks and lied saying it was his parents' death anniversary that day. After Jin Lifa was drunk enough, he asked who made the decision to burn Li Niang. In order to keep Li Niang's secret, Li Xianguan never told Jin Lifa the truth, so Jin Lifa said his mother-in-law invited a sorceress, and it was the sorceress who made the decision. Luo Ling decided to avenge Li Niang. By a lucky coincidence, Li Xianguan's younger brother caught a cold. He did something to the medicine and caused the boy to die with what seemed to be smallpox. Luo Ling was very cautious. He laid dormant for a while, heartily appreciating Li Xianguan's mother's pain of losing a child. After his shifu died of illness, he used a method unknown to even ghosts to poison Mother Li to death. Afterwards, Luo Ling left town and wandered around for nearly 20 years. After a freak combination of factors, he arrived at the capital and happened to meet Jin Lifa and wife Jin. At the same time, these two were finding someone to write a script about Li Niang. I thought Li Niang's spirit wanted to tell me who truly harmed her. When Luo Ling was helping the Lakesea troop members treat their sicknesses, he saw the script and was deeply appalled. The script content actually guessed the truth of what he did back then. He began to wonder if Li Xianguan deliberately wanted to kill Li Niang at that time. If Jin Lifa saw this script, maybe it remind him of what he saw back then. After Jin Lifa saw the script, he was furious and asked someone to rewrite it. This caused Luo Ling to further think the Jin couple had a guilty conscience. Neither Jin Lifa nor Li Xianguan could stay. As it turned out, because of payment, Zhang Ping and Jin Lifa had grievances between them. Zhang Ping and Luo Ling had similar stat years, so Luo Ling decided to use Zhang Ping as his guise. The troupe member Li Qi was already dissatisfied with Jin Lifa and wife Jin. After reading the script, he also became suspicious of what happened back then and even consulted about it with him. So, Luo Ling deliberately guided Li Qi into thinking Jin Lifa was the real murderer and was even conspiring to seize the Li family's properties. He stole Zhang Ping's knife, created a laxative, let Li Qi act as the perpetrator, and deliberately flashed past one of Leixi Trupp's apprentices under the moonlight. Unexpectedly, Jin Lifa was lucky and didn't die. Wife Jin wept and thanked within the court hall, thanking the heavens for helping her husband catch the perpetrator and for solving Li Niang's 20 years of injustice. Little sister Li Niang had a hard life. After she passed, maybe she really did become an immortal. During those few nights, I didn't know how, but I kept dreaming of her, which was why I thought of writing this play. Perhaps she knew Luo Ling had come and wanted me to appeal for justice. Under the first rays of the morning sun, Zhang Ping walked past the gates of the Ministry of Justice before some behind him said, "Wait." Zhang Ping looked back and saw Wang Yan standing 10 feet away with a frown. "You, come here." End chapter.